This is how we ride. This is how
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have some news. Today we have some news that has come in, but penalty report: James McFadden and Roth Motorsports suspended, fined for failing tire test. I had a lot of people talk about this, how there's just not a lot of tire testing in sprint car racing. And it is odd that, the last kind of true penalty in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series for any kind of alterations or cheating aspects was the 83 car of Roth Motorsports with the previous driver. Now, through a lot of conversations in the background, I had some decent information that some of the people involved with that chassis situation felt like they were singled out. They felt like there was a lot of things going on in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series, but they weren't necessarily involved in the clique, the protected individuals of the scenario. And what do I mean by protected or somebody in the clique? Well, there's some valuable pieces in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series that need to be there every single week. And there's drivers that bring crowds. And if you lose those drivers, they're going to lose that crowd. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the fans cheer for 20% of the drivers. And when you're working with the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series that has, 12 full-timers now, 15 maybe, there's only really about 4 or 5 that are really being cheered for by the majority of the fan base. Now we see the Roth Motorsports team once again without a marquee driver. Even though James McFadden is a marquee talent, I'm not saying that. But is he a part of that 80-20 when it comes to the majority of the fan base coming to the racetrack to see him? I think most people would sit here and say no. Not being disrespectful to you, James McFadden. I'm just saying. Currently, due to the violation, the penalties that are going to be faced here is a disqualification from the I-55 event and fined $8,200 in total. $6,000 to be returned from the event, $2,000 for the violation, and $200 for the tire analysis. In addition, McFadden and the team will lose 500 driver and owner points, and they have been issued a 4-race suspension, owner, driver, and crew members. It also says that the fines and suspension must be paid before the team can race in future World Racing Group events. And then it also says that the team has filed an appeal, and they will be able to race until the appeal process is completed. So, me personally, I feel bad for Roth Motorsports. I know a lot of people are just running around saying, well, I hear, Ross said win at whatever costs. Let it happen. Make it happen. And for those who recognize the Reutzel situation, which he was, doing something illegal, that kind of narrative of Ross says do whatever it takes to win would fit that narrative. But then there's also the other side angle to this is what about everyone else? It seems to be like this is a team that the World of Outlaws can use to penalize, to kind of look to the public and to potential competitors outside the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series that, hey, we're doing everything legal and fine. We're checking, we're teching, we're doing everything the right way. And in other words, we catch people. See, look what happened to Roth. Look, we tire test, we check chassis, we do all this stuff. We are playing by the rules with everyone in the series. They got this picture here with Brad Sweet and Shane Clanton. Brad Sweet just started the High Limit Sprint Car Series, a very new series. Now, if you're Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, and you have a driver like Anthony Macri, one of the biggest rising stars in the sport, coming out onto the road at high limits across the country like he's already done, and you take his tire sample and it comes back hot, are you really going to do what's happening here? Are you? You're Kyle Larson, you're Brad Sweet. You don't need anything to go wrong in this thing to really make an impact with the High Limit Series. You need to run smooth, and you need the best drivers outside the World of Outlaws to attend, and I think Anthony Macri fits in that category. You have a driver who has major event wins, has a reputation across the country. He's from the Pennsylvania. He's like the new Pennsylvania boy outside of Brent Marks. And are you really going to jeopardize losing that car not only for the rest of the High Limit Series, but forever? Nobody's going to take blame on this thing. They're all going to cry wolf. They're never going to say, yeah, we doped our tires. They're out there doing it in the first place. And I learned about this with our interview with Casey Shuman, where he talked about starting the non-wing Sprint Car Extreme Series, losing lifetime friends for popping a tire hot. This is the type of destruction that these types of decisions can cause. It's an ego-driven sport. And when you pop tires, you're destroying some people's ego. And they would rather not ever race in your series again. They would rather not respond to your text. They would take a lifetime friendship and throw it in the trash if you come for that ego. Whether if they know that they were in the right or the wrong to begin with, it doesn't even matter. So there's a lot of things to consider when we're talking about tires hot in sprint car racing. Some people out there call sprint cars giant go-karts with wings. And the go-kart industry is full of tire dope. So I would bet that this isn't the only hot tire out there. And I would bet that even though they looked at this tire very harshly, that there are some tires that they look away from. But that's just what I think. I don't know. As far as we know, the World of Outlaws calls it fair down the middle. And everybody does out there. Everyone. Nobody cheats. Nobody does anything wrong. Authoritarianism is a dead concept. And cliques and buddy systems do not exist in professional dirt track racing. What's that movie, the RoboCop? I'll buy that for $1. And honestly, when it comes to some of these marquee names, if you do pop them and get rid of them, and you lose a relationship, you lose a car, some people would say that that is penny smart and dollar dumb to risk using a money-making team for your series or show in the sake of fairness. When we're in a sport that people, so turning a blind eye to some scenarios is business as usual in the racing world. But it's hard to tell. What do y'all think, ladies and gentlemen? What do y'all think is really going out there at the top level of the professional dirt racing scene? Is everybody's tires looked at the same? Or is one eye open and one eye closed? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, share the video, comment below. What do you think? And as always, be sure to subscribe. We will catch you next time.
This is how we ride. This is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Shade.